Kirito twisted and turned in his sleep. He was sweating heavily and was extremely uncomfortable under the blanket. You psychopath, I prefer creative. He opened his eyes all of the sudden and got up. He was wet with sweat and his head was spinning. He fell back on the bed and looked overhead. Great, I can't sleep now. At this rate, I'll go mad. He tucked his knee into his stomach and crawled his back. He clenched his arms and ducked his face into the pillow. He moved into every possible and every position he could think of, but it was all vile effort. Alright, I can't sleep. He got up. Vivian was asleep on the sofa. He walked towards the fridge and searched for a beer can. We are out of beer. I'll get some more, he said as he walked towards the entrance and tucked his shoes. He walked out of the apartment. The streets were empty and dim lit by the street lights. It was quiet and still. It's been a month since I went to work, Kirito mumbled while walking. I can't let that take over forever. I need to get my shit together. He entered a convenience store and walked towards the coal stack. He took 12 beer cans wrapped together in one packet and paid through his card. He walked out of the shop. He stopped by a park and sat on the bench. He looked ahead and then looked at the sky above him. I couldn't sleep too, he said. He opened one can and started drinking. He sat there for about an hour, staring at the star. Why can't I forget all about the past? Maybe because deep inside you don't want to forget it. You want to remember it. Kirito sat beside him. Kirito looked at him. Another dream. Maybe. Kirito picked a beer can. Who are you? Are you some kind of spirit? Kirito asked. Not really. You won't call me a spirit. Kirito took a sip of the beer. Then, what are you? I am truth. A truth which everyone hates. Everyone but you. That's why you are talking to me. I talk to everyone who can hear me. You are really difficult to understand. Kirito kept the can aside. You will understand when everything falls in the place and the first snow hits the ground. What do you mean? Kirito asked as he looked at him. Somebody is here to pick you up. Kirito pointed behind him. Kirito turned back and found Vivian standing at the gate of the park. Vivian, Kirito said as he got up. What are you doing here? I told you not to leave without telling me, but you like to make me worried. Vivian walked towards him. How did you wake up in the middle of night? Somebody left the fridge door open and I started feeling cold, so I got up and bam, you were gone. Vivian looked at the beer can. Drinking? Vivian asked as she picked up the empty cans. He turned back and Kirito was gone. She threw the empty cans inside the dustbin. I'm going crazy, Kirito mumbled as he looked at the ground. Vivian raised his chin. It's okay. Everyone is crazy in their own way. He looked at her as she picked up the rest of the canned beers. Come. He walked behind her as they walked towards the apartment. They entered the apartment and Vivian arranged the beer cans inside the fridge. She turned back and twisted her ears and looked at him. And after that, she came near to him and twisted his ears too. He shouted, "Oh, what are you doing?" He slapped her hand. "Why can't you sleep?" I don't know. "Bullshit! Go and get into your bed now," Vivian shouted in German. Kirito quietly did as told. She rolled up into the blanket. "Now sleep." She can never understand me. Never understand me, he thought as he closed his eyes. He turned back towards her and looked at the wall. She pressed her palm on his head. "Call me when you need anything." She smiled and went towards the sofa. He lay on the bed for another few minutes, finally got up. He walked towards Vivian and sat in front of her. She was asleep already. He pressed his palm over her head. "Help me," he said softly. She held his hand and opened her eyes. "You didn't sleep?" Kirito asked. "I can't." "Why?" "Because you have been sad lately. I'd rather have you angry than sad." Kirito smiled. "You idiot." She smiled and looked into his eyes. "Kirito, do you have insomnia?" "No, I just can't sleep some night because I need to fight my demons." Vivian rubbed his hands. "You're beautiful when you are honest." "Am I not beautiful when I'm not honest?" "Then you are just handsome." Should I tell her that my mind is fighting a body that is trying to kill it? My mind is in ruins and I got a garden to keep. "Hey," Vivian got up and sat on the sofa. Kirito looked up at her as he sat on the carpet. She pressed his cheeks with her thumb. "Idiot loves you, okay?" He looked at her. Something had changed. I can't change it back, and surprisingly, I don't want to. I was a mistake. Oh, come on." Kirito finally spoke out. Finally, he broke down that the smile which was damp to the troubled water of his soul. Vivian took a deep breath as she looked at him. "Tell me about it." "I can't tell you. I promise I would never." "To whom?" "I can't tell you." "Hear me." He got up and sat beside her. He moved closer to her. She looked at him. It was as if his heart was talking through his eyes. He pressed her hands on his face. "Rough hands are not that bad, but I would prefer the soft. I will apply some lotions." He pressed his hands on her face. "You're soft." She smiled. He moved them across her hair and brought his face closer to hers. "Hear me?" She blushed. "I can't believe how much I love this. It's something so pure and ethereal." Vivian turned from pink to red. He smiled, nodded, and touched her nose. "So, wanna do some husband-wife stuff?" "I don't know what you are talking about." Vivian moved away. He laughed. "I'm just teasing you, okay?" He got up from the sofa and stretched himself. "You mean you won't do anything?" Vivian asked. "Well, someone sure is disappointed." "Not really." Vivian made a pout. Kirito smiled as he looked at her. Kirito stood into a plane which drove over Fox Glacier, New Zealand. Alright, passengers, has everyone got their parachutes? The instructor asked. Yes. 3 Englishmen stood beside him. Jump! The instructor shouted. They all jumped down. Kirito spread his arms and howled. So this is how mortal test ends? It's actually fun. Woo-hoo.